is where we discuss the possibilities.
Hi guys, I'm Joe Klimczewski, founder of The Diet Doc, and today in the coaching clinic, I have Coach Adam Atkinson, who is a part of The Diet Doc. He's been with us for it's been well more than 5 years, wouldn't you say, Adam? 5, 6?
Yeah, I think we started talking in like 2011, if I remember right, and
right.
You guys slowly worked me in from that point on. So yeah.
And then Adam became a peaking coach with us, and in his own right is now probably one of the, if not the biggest, hottest coaches in the entire world in terms of fitness, nutrition, working with competitors. And as a funny note, when I was interviewing Paul Ravella, and I think I announced him the same way as the hottest coach in the world, Adam texted me immediately and said, hey dude, what's up with that? You know, I'm the guy. And so, and he's right. I was schooled on that one, because I think if anybody rivals Paul for that title, it's got to be Adam. You Adam, are everywhere. You've got clients competing at all levels up to the IFBB pro stages, and you help a lot of women into their first contests. And of course, you work with a lot of general population clients just trying to improve their health. So in just a short synopsis, tell us who you are and what you'd like to do.
Yeah, so honestly, my biggest thing is transforming people, not only on a physical level, but on a mental level as well. I think, I've always been a big believer, and one of my life mottos is where the head goes, the body goes. And I think you really have to improve people's mind to get them to improve the body. I think a lot of that really comes down to my team. The group of individuals that I work with are so positive and so motivating. Really makes my job easy, because I have such a community of powerful, not only men, but women that just really empower each other and lift each other up. And it's just something that a lot of people want to be a part of. And, not only do we have people competing on some of the biggest stages in the world, we've had clients who have had 200-pound weight loss transformations. And, I only have a handful of clients who have lost 100, but yet 200, like we're transforming everybody. So it's really exciting. And that's where the motto, "See you later, leaner," came from, is when clients would leave my office, it was just a joke I would say. And then Ashley Barnhart, who made me get my Instagram account, and she was like, "What do you want to call yourself?" I'm like, "Well, let's see if 'See you later, leaner' is taken." And then the business name came from that. And I'm not a big social media guy, but unfortunately, I found that you kind of have to be in this industry. So I'm still working on that. But
well, I would contend you on that, because I don't know anybody who has a better social media game than you. You're right up there with everybody. But
well, thank you.
You mentioned your transformation aspect of your business, and you're in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but you started in personal training. A lot of the best fitness coaches, what I would call online fitness coaches, nutrition coaches, started out doing that, working one-on-one with clients in a gym, doing the whole package, working toward nutrition understanding as well as fitness goals. So are you still doing that? And tell me how that whole transformation in your own career happened.
Yeah, so I still do work with in-person people. I think that's something I'll always keep as part of my business, because when you have conversations with people and you talk to them and you see people working out, you're going to think about that when you email your online clients who you never even see. And sometimes you'll literally see something with a client or hear them say something that makes you think about something else or someone else you're working with that, I think that's the hardest part on online communication is communication. And if you're always in a communicative environment with clients, it's going to make you a better online trainer. Also, I just really thrive on seeing people. I don't know if I could just be alone all day.
Right.
I really do. I do look forward. I just do a couple groups a day where I can get up out of bed, have my coffee, and go down and actually move with my clients and train them. And then I do my emails and online stuff from there.
Yeah, I agree. 20 years ago, when I moved to Evansville, Indiana, where I currently am, probably 22, 23 years ago now, I bought a small private gym and started doing personal training work, hired trainers gradually, really built that presence in our local community. And it is something that you just can't replace. I still have clients once in a while, former clients, who will see me on the street, and we'll talk about those days, and they'll say, man, if you ever start doing that again, if you ever train people, call me up because I want to be a part of that. Those were the best years of my life. And it's exactly what you said, Adam, is that you just have that connection. You see those people repetitively every week, couple times a week, and you become part of their lives, and vice versa. And that's really hard to replace. I often tell people wanting to get into this business that to root yourself into your community is probably the best first step you can take.
Absolutely. And it's great because my clients from out of town can also come visit me and kind of see how I train. And when you have your own studio, which I have here in Columbus, Ohio, people can come and visit, and you can also film from there. You can send workout videos to your clients. If they need an exercise demo, I could just go down to my studio and film something for them real quick to help them. So, because there's 1,000,001 videos of an exercise, and I would say 20% of them are done wrong or don't have a great explanation of how to do them. So
yeah, it's great that you have that background, because that comes in handy with all of your clients you're working with. Everybody's going to have everybody's going to have questions no matter what level they're at. But with that as your foundation, starting in personal training, working in a local gym in Columbus, Ohio, you truly are now an international star coach. And I say that because you have bikini competitors, figure competitors who are winning up and down the levels, through all, like I said, through amateur to the highest pro stages. So tell me how you made that jump. What got you there? And of course, to be sustainable, you have to be good. So tell us what you're doing that's making you so effective.
Well, first, I always had to credit my mentor. So I started out of a gym in Columbus, Ohio called Beyond Limits Training with Rich Laura. And man, Rich just created a awesome foundation there. And I really branched off from that, and just how he interacted with clients. He was a great training mentor to have. And then, of course, watching you and seeing you peak clients, I was backstage with those clients watching what you did with them. I got to develop an eye watching you peak clients, seeing the changes you made. I think that's an experience that no coach has ever really gotten to have, because when you were working with Ashley and Laura and Joe and Betsy, when you gave people salt or water, I didn't know why, but then I could see what happened. With salt especially, salt made such a big difference. And I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, it seemed like such a small change, but such a benefit. It was amazing. And I don't know if you remember when you were peaking Martin Daniels, when I was training with you. You told me he looked flat, and I'm like, I don't know how this guy looks flat. He's one of the biggest men I've ever seen in the world. And I'll never forget you saying this, and I don't remember if you remember, but you showed me a picture, I want to say 40 minutes later, and you're like, look how much better he looks. And I was like, that was a huge difference. And you said, just because he looks good doesn't mean he can't look better. And that always stuck with me. And that's always been like my motto for Peak Week. Now, you obviously can't create something that's not there. So, a lot of clients get judges' feedback and they're like, you need to be fuller. Well, I'm like, I got you as full as I can. We just need to have more muscle mass to be fuller. So I think for us, what's really made me successful is always being open to change, because, I came from a meal plan era promoting something that was kind of frowned upon, and sometimes still is. People are a lot more hip to macronutrient dieting than they used to be. people are getting better about drinking water backstage, but I feel like still I go to these NPC shows and tons of people are not drinking water. And I just feel like my clients have the upper hand with that. So, especially on an IFBB level, you see even more bad peaking protocols, even on that higher level. It just so happens some of those people have some of the best genetics and they're extremely good athletes that they can actually afford to cut water because they look so good anyhow. But I have a girl doing Pro Masters this weekend. She competed with me 2 years ago in IFBB Pro Masters. She's competed for, I think, 15 years. She had never had water for a show. And the look of excitement on her face was, I've never felt this good on show day ever. And also, I've never looked this good either. She was like a kid in a candy store. And I'll never forget the look and the expression on her face. She was just in disbelief that this worked. And she got sixth. So we just got edged out of an IFBB top 5. But we're coming in for battle next weekend. And I think we're going to get it.
Gotcha. And you mentioning some of those details. And you're right. I had completely forgotten that you, as the trainer of people like Ashley and Joe and Betsy and Laura backstage, we collaborated a lot. So you were training some of these clients. I was helping them with their nutrition, and you were right there with them watching some of this transpire, almost, sometimes me talking through you to them. Yeah. And so that is a fun thing to just.
A lot of times I had their phones and you probably didn't know it, because I would just, and still to this day, if my clients need anything backstage except for toenails, I won't slap those on anybody. But if they need anything, I'm there. If they need a tan touch up or anything, I kind of like to say on show day, you are on the VIP list and all inclusive. You have anything you need. As long as I can be there. But that's what's nice. My clients understand when I'm gone at a show that somebody's getting some really good treatment that day and getting really paid attention to, because peaking's by the minute and you want to make sure your people look good. I'm always amazed when I go to shows and I don't see coaches backstage, because I know very well that, you need to pay attention to see how people are looking, or even just how your clients are acting. If they're looking stressed out, I'll a lot of times take my clients away from backstage and say, let's get you out of here because this environment's toxic for you. Let's get you to lay down, relax, do anything. But, you can just tell those clients who are eyeballing everybody, and they're just going to look worse by doing that. Right. And then I stay backstage and I'm kind of their timer for them to say, hey, let's get you ready now. So,
well, that definitely makes sense why you are successful, because to this day, I'm the exact same way with clients. It often surprises them, especially if I have a new client that I haven't worked with, that I really do want to communicate with them all day through the contest. And I'll say, yeah, I need photos, a couple hours after every meal. I need you to tell me how you're looking, how you're feeling. I need this, I need that. And that's new to a lot of people, that they're going to get that much attention. But as you said, those small nuances in how you look for a physique contest the day of the event, it can change minute to minute, meal by meal. And if you have the right setup, there's going to be a certain amount you can fine tune the day of the show, but you have to do less risky things if you have scheduled the entire week to have just a solid foundation and you have all of those biological variables moving in the direction you want. So what have you learned through your experience? Because you're working with dozens of clients every single weekend, hundreds at a time. So what are you learning to really help fine tune those tiny variables up to that stage moment?
I think the biggest thing is that the peak week communication is huge. And you will know this as well as I do. Some clients just are really bad about sending photos. And I'll tend to almost keep things the same. I'll always do what I know versus trying something risky with what I don't know. I might try that in an overall scenario with a bodybuilder. If I have a guy who's small and I'm like, the guy who won the class, 2 classes up is massive. We need to play the conditioning game, but we need to also come in as big as we possibly can. So we might try a really high sodium meal if that client does well with that, and even load some more water just to saturate that muscle tissue. But typically I won't give them anything they haven't had before either, because they might not digest it well. And I think just knowing individuality is key. I have some clients who just are very, very flat in the morning and do well with a lot of food going into the show. And then I have some people, you almost have to keep them to that morning tightness and not really have a whole lot of food going into show day. So I think recognizing that with the weekly photos, but then as the load changes, the time that they look good can change too. So I think it's really a combination of a lot of things, and just really paying attention to people. I think one of the hardest things to manage is when you're working with clients online, they're changing hotel rooms, they're changing lighting, then they get a tan on, they look darker, is always making sure you get a good quality photo from your clients and making sure that they're breathing properly when they take the photo, because someone can very easily make themselves look bad in a photo. And sometimes they just send a really good money photo, and it's not that they necessarily looked better at that time, So sometimes my clients get annoyed because I'll have them retake them. And, that's sometimes the last thing they want to do, but they do understand that they need to do it to look better. I think, timing is everything. And that's one of the hardest things to do at a show, is time when somebody is going to go on. Because a lot of times you think that they're going to be close to going on, and then it's 2 hours. And sometimes it comes down to, let's do a half a meal just in case of timing, or let's set tight and let's use more water, sodium, to stay on that fuller side, because that's going to be quicker than what a meal can be. Those are usually just some small changes. And that's the hardest thing, is going into the show day with a tentative plan, because I think everyone wants a plug and play method. Okay, so I'm definitely going to have meal 3 by stage time. I'm like, that's the plan, but do prepare for that to change. So, and sometimes you have clients that are so type A, they almost don't understand that.
I love the way you're answering these questions, Adam, and it makes so much sense why you're that successful. The fact that you are that open-minded for the entire process to be incredibly different client to client, even down to, discussing that, we might need photos in different lighting situations just so I can see those changes in you, or make sure I'm seeing everything. That takes a very critical eye. And this comes down to what coaching should be. A lot of times that phrase is just flippantly used, that, oh, I'm a coach, I'm a coach, I'm a coach. There's something kind of fun to that, and maybe gives you some swag. But coaching means coaching. You individually taking care of that client in every single need they have that might be different from everybody else. And that really is unique in this industry, especially. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the client we networked with recently. I tried something that I would say was borderline extreme, where we noticed a lot of gut distress with her. Even from digesting really good digestive food sources. So we actually cut her food off pretty early the day before show. And if I remember right, I emailed you and said, what do you think about this client fasting into the show to keep her midsection tighter? And you agreed. And that made me feel great, because I'm like, I've honestly never done that with someone, but I could see she had all the muscle fullness in the world. We needed to keep her midsection tight. There was going to be nobody bigger than her on that stage. And it's bikini. So, a lot of times you don't need to be that full. And we wanted to keep her stomach tight. And, that is extreme, asking someone not to eat, but she still kept the sodium and water in for show day. her blood sugar stayed pretty stable all day. I said, bring a glucometer with you. If your blood sugar starts dropping, we'll eat a little something. And I think she ended up with just having 2 or 3 rice cakes to maintain that blood sugar. But she looked the best she had ever looked. And she's like, that was hard. But she said, I knew we had to do it to look my best. And just like on the other end, I've had clients who are eating, 400 grams, 500 grams of carbs a day. They understand they need to eat that much to look their best too. Maybe not in a show day scenario, but, again, very individual. And her case, we could really see that distension of the stomach. And she placed top 3 in a highly competitive show. So we were really happy with that. And that was her best placement yet.
So let's spend our last few minutes talking about people who may come to you and they don't have that much experience. They see you as this phenomenal coach. You've got the superstar pro clients, and I'm just a starry-eyed young, bikini competitor, maybe even a male bodybuilder, and I want you to be my coach, and this is my first experience. How do you, because you talked about loving the behavioral aspect and the mindset of this, how do you transition your focus from that person into those higher levels? What are you doing helping the less experienced people to progress their career?
I think for them, it's starting slow. A lot of times with somebody brand new to the sport, it's getting them to track macros and not necessarily getting them on stage right away. A lot of those new clients have heard like, oh, a 12-week prep, that sounds great. But I like to tell those clients, we probably could compete in 12 weeks, but if I want to make you a champion, why don't we give it 8 months to a year? And then once they see how the process works, I think they're more open to, taking a longer time. But, just really having a good format on how you teach people into competing. A lot of my clients, when they do end up doing their very, very first show with me, they'll usually diet down close to stage ready, and then we'll actually do a metabolic building phase because they just realize, what, I think I want to put some more time into this, and getting them to understand that on a competitive level. But if they just want to compete too, I'm willing to definitely take them the rest of the way, and also find a show that's going to be something that they can probably place well in. The INBF and the WNBF is still around. Those tend to be smaller shows, so sometimes I might throw somebody into one of those shows for their first one, and then maybe next year we try an NPC show. But I think also too, getting them to learn that this isn't going to be easy. I think Instagram has really gotten the word out that, if you're having a rough time during your prep, you're doing it wrong. And I think I've had clients who have had very little complaints, and I've had clients who prep was pretty tough on them. And honestly, some of those clients were higher calorie than some of the lower clients. I'm sure you've seen that as well. And I always find that interesting. How can I have someone on 2,500 calories and they're complaining more than somebody I have on 1,100 calories? And then, there's a lot of people who'll say, well, if you're on 1,100 calories, that's wrong. But again, back to being very individual. And I think trying to keep my clients' head down into their own journey versus what they're reading online, because everyone's physiology is going to vary.
Right. And, I've actually taken a couple pretty advanced biology courses in the last year, and I've learned more than that ever what it means for, not just physiology to be different. We always talk about body type being different, but down to the gene expression level, transpositional genes, promoter genes, they can be so different person to person. Most of us will never even know what that means in terms of something like how I feel, how I look, how much hunger I have, how much more difficulty it might be for me to get leaner. But there are quantum differences between people. And, just for you to be able to tell each client that, look, this is all about your journey. You can't compare how you're feeling or what you need to do to get there. And that's why it takes a great, caring, smart coach like yourself.
Yeah. And I think it's been great that I've competed, because I was one who didn't feel great when he competed, but I tried to turn that into a positive of, if I'm not feeling great, I'm probably losing body fat and getting leaner and making progress. So, but I was lucky enough to more so see the scale drop pretty consistently. So, some of my clients, when they hit a sticking point, aside from my other clients, I don't really know what that's like.
Well, before I forget, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. What are your best social media places, your website, and all that good address stuff?
Instagram's great. If you do look me up, it's See You Later Leaner, SEEYOULATERLEANER. So it's not abbreviated or anything. You can also look me up, Adam Atkinson, on Facebook. And then you can also just inquire through the website, seeyouLaterLeaner.com.
Yeah. We'll have all that in the show notes too for this, so it'll be printed for everybody. But Adam, I got to tell you, I am just so proud of you as a fitness professional, because I've known you for now, as you said, almost a decade. You are, in every single measurable metric in our company, number one. You are our number one nutrition consultant, number one peaking coach. And yet, in your own right, with your own business, you're just a stud. You are truly one of the best in the world. So,
well, thank you.
Could not be happier to know you.
Great mentors, and I appreciate you guys and everything you've taught me and done for me. So, thank you.
All right. Well, there you go. There's Adam Atkinson in Columbus, Ohio. See You Later Leaner is his business name, and you can contact him with some of the information we're going to put in the show notes. And Adam, once again, I just really had a great time in the coaching clinic with you, and appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys, and we will see you next time.